Yeah.
Yes.
Woo. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for coming out. Thanks everybody for cheering and for wearing deodorant too. I mean, because it's really hot and sweaty in here, so I appreciate that. Welcome to ABCD, the American-born Chatty Desi podcast.
That's right.
And as your host, finally, once again, back in the host chair. Pretty excited about that. Let me introduce my co-host, a man whose Instagram links to his Vimeo, which he last uploaded to, and I kid you not, 2012. Because I checked. Omar Najam, ladies and gentlemen.
I will have you know I got an A on that assignment that I did for the UCLA Directing Certificate program. Thank you very much.
But why do you still link your own Instagram to it? Is it a bit?
It's not. It should be.
It's just you forgot?
It's not.
You forgot?
I completely forgot.
You have 7,000 followers on there.
And I hope some of that traffic leads to the short films I did for the UCLA Directing Certificate program.
I mean, do watch them. I watched one of them. They were amazing.
Thank you very much. And I would like to introduce you all to the host. During the 1998 Grammys, he ran in front of Bob Dylan, tore off his shirt, and revealed the words "soy bomb," and it would be considered the 10th most shocking thing that happened at the Grammys, according to BestLifeOnline.com. Sandeep Parikh.
Well, oh, that got horns. That intro got horns. Thank you so much for the intro. Wait, was that like a real person? And then you just
that really happened. That really happened.
Okay, but it wasn't me. I wish it was. Wait, who did it?
It was a poet. It was a poet. I forget the poet's name. But the idea was.
Who cares? Whatever.
It's not. Listen, I'm going to be honest. If you do a spectacle and I can't retain all of it, that's just not great branding. As someone who worked digital marketing for a couple years, you have to have it all enclosed. Like we have to have an introduction that's really tight. That says exactly what it is. We can't get caught on little bits talking about which poets jumped in front of Bob Dylan and just
it was
revealed
E.
words.
Cummings, but whatever.
I mean, it was... and truly, E. Cummings' finest work.
Yeah, indeed. All right, you're right. Let's get to it. Our show, ABCD, American-Born Chatty Desis, is a podcast within a live stream within our lives as two American-born Desis. It's a podduckin.
Oh my god.
This show is for anyone out there who, like us, are kind of confused about our identities and just kind of want to chat it out. That's what we're doing here.
Yes, that's completely correct. And we have a pseudo format to it.
I love pseudo formats.
In 3 acts. Oh, yeah? Do you have any? What's your other favorite pseudo format?
Oh, man, so many. I'll talk about them later.
Yeah, how can you choose? It's like choosing with your children. Our first act, we're going to start with a chakra check-in, where we hone in on a topic that's currently affecting our alignment. Today's is how to get over your stage fright. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Our second act is we then pit our American-born side against our Desi-born side in our death match debate. This week we're going with Sitar versus guitar.
All right, Omar, I'm going to stop you right there real quick because now you've done it twice and it's okay. Okay, I'm not trying to shame you. I just want to be. You said American-born side versus Desi-born side. We can't have been born in both. We can't have been born in both.
Challenge accepted.
I was going to say, unless you were born in both, and that would be amazing.
You're born on an international flight from...
That's what I was wondering.
Exactly. And it was a 9-hour situation. It was a very lengthy birthing process.
So you did cross the international date line, and you're basically mom crowning
in
India
Calcutta.
or in Calcutta, yeah. And then actually you were out in...
Detroit. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Which I think is truly the American experience that everyone's had.
You are definitely the only person that is right for this show. There's no better person for this show. All right.
And finally, we get to nominate our Desi of the Week.
Yes.
And Blammo podcast is over. And you can live the rest of your life and feel a little bit more musical. I'm going to give that little hint out there for some stuff we're going to talk about today.
That's right. And hey, we also have sponsors, you guys.
Oh.
And that's number one, DesiQuest is a sponsor, and that's our actual play TTRPG set in the South Asian mythological universe, inspired by or built by the star of the show, our GM Jasmine, that bronze gold buller. It's got a great cast. Oh, just the most best looking cast in the world. That includes Critical Role darling Anjali Bhimani, Dimension 20 darling Rekha Shankar, and then these two darlings you're looking at right here, me and Omar. So yeah, our show with ourselves is brought to you by another show with ourselves. That's fine. That's legal. You can do that. But for more information on this show and when it actually comes out, when it's actually going to air and all this fun stuff, then get on our mailing list. Hit up DesiQuest.com, DesiQuest.com, or click the link in our show notes, because it'll be the same link that I just spelled. And you can sign up for our mailing list. Our next sponsor is you. Don't you love it when people do that? Oh, man, I do too. Well, in this case, it's actually totally true. We have Patreons and other such members in our Discord that help us keep the lights on. And I'm going to be singing their names in the credits. So if you want to help support our delicious voices, then head on over to patreon.com/EffinFunny and join the show. And you can also head to our Discord, the EffinFunny Discord, which is now public, and become a member there. And in either way, the cost is the same, and you can support us, and I'll sing to your awesomeness later.
That is amazing. Do you think that, now that we've got the announcements out of the way, we should move on to our chakra check-in?
I think we should.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
So today, we are chatting about how to conquer stage fright. We're both performers.
Mm-hmm.
We've both done things
Allegedly.
on stage. Allegedly. Yep. No one's seen them.
Unless you head on over to Omar's Instagram, where you can click on his Vimeo link. And there you can find...
You can find links to Purple and other shorts that I've forgotten the titles of. Because again, I haven't updated that since my UCLA directing certificate program. But there are different energies you can bring to the stage, and different energies you can use to combat stage fright. So why don't let's kick it off. Which chakra do you rely on when you're dealing with stage fright?
Well, I think the right one kind of is like the one that resonates to me in terms of self-esteem and ego and like a place of power is the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura.
Ooh, I see.
I think that's where it kind of rocks from, right? Because like, you feel it in your gut. I mean, at least I do. My tummy gets a little wobbly before shows, and so that's where I feel it. That's where I just learned recently your sympathetic nervous system reaches pretty deeply into your tummy area. So when you feel like queasy and something in your guts, it's literally your sympathetic nervous system that's getting in that fight or flight mode. So that makes sense, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm going to go do this thing that's like presumably dangerous. I do wonder how it tracks back to like caveman days or whatever, where it's like, well, if me get on stage, me can be seen by tiger more. I don't know if that's where like it comes from or something, but like I feel it in my guts. And so for me, I don't know I'm curious if you had any experiences like this, but for me, I literally used to throw up pretty much before all of my improv. When I first moved out to LA,
really,
for the first, I'd say 3 or 4 years, before an improv show, it was like clockwork. I would literally, like we'd be warming up, and then it got to the point where like my fellow compatriots all knew that like, it was like, oh, okay, we must be 5 minutes out because Sandeep's throwing up. He'll be back in a second. Like, I would just go throw up real quick, come back in, and then feel way better. And then be like, well, I'd feel better, but I'd still feel really, really nervous until the second that I got on stage. And then it was like, I don't know if something in my body was just like too late, but I felt really at peace. Like once I'm on stage, I feel better, but the lead up to getting on stage is really gnarly for me. Right. What's like, where do you land with that?
For me, It is a throat chakra situation.
Okay.
That's associated with communication, associated with your voice. And for me, it's an interesting thing where I do get nervous, but because, especially with something like improv comedy, it's a little bit different with scripted material because I'm always like, I have forgotten everything. And I'm like, if I'm in the crucible, I'll just go out and be like, so did you do it or not? No? Mm-hmm. Okay. Play's over. Thank you all for coming. I don't think we need to continue this trial. But otherwise, for anything that's like made up or like jumping on a podcast or anything like that, I feel like I'm constantly absorbing a bunch of material and it's all built up. So it's not even anxiety of like doing it wrong or being judged. I've been very lucky to be in spaces where I don't have to worry about that as much. Or maybe I'm just an egomaniac who has way too much
I didn't say it.
Unearned confidence about it. But I am like, this is the chance for me to now like process a lot of the stuff I've taken in and just share it. And so for me, it's that anxiety of just like, oh, all this stuff. Like I've got so much material just like cooking and swirling that I want to just like express and let out. And when I don't perform is usually when I feel an anxiety where I'm just like, oh gosh, I would just want to talk about like, I just did a bunch of research about horse movies. I can't bring that up at a lunch with people who don't care about this.
Does anybody want to start a podcast? You're just on the street, you know, just like holding up like, we'll start a podcast. Please honk if you'd like to start a podcast with me.
We go minute by minute of the horse whisperer with Robert Redford. So yeah.
Okay, so you get more anxiety when you don't perform, but what about early on? Like, what about like, you know, before, or have you just always been performing?
You know what? It's been I've always been on stage in some capacity. Like elementary school talent shows, but when I did get nervous, I would feel it in, that was a very, and I don't know if this is like going to take us in an interesting route, but a very like sacral chakra feeling.
Sure.
Where I'd just be like, ooh, that's where that fear comes from.
Yep. That's your security center.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's not fully the ground is falling out beneath my feet, but I feel wobbly. And I think that the few times that when I hosted talent shows, which seems like much lower stakes than they do now, of being like, God, I hope this UCB audience likes this joke.
Yeah, but back then, you know, in that moment, it's a big deal.
All you knew.
Yeah, it's all you knew.
If I had screwed up, it probably would have traumatized me. But I think that because I killed a couple times on stage, I did magic for the talent show too, so it wasn't like a cool thing. It was like very nerdy. But the fact that like every so often to knock out of the park, I think that thrill and that success drove me.
Yeah.
It was a high.
Well, that's the like hitting the golf ball with the perfect swing that you're always chasing. You're like, I did it that one time, so I should like, this is easy. I should, and then you just like have to chase it for 3 years again. Yeah, it's interesting. Like you bring up the sacral chakra. There is actually an exercise that I was taught by my dad, who's like really into this stuff. That helps me for big meetings and stuff like that. It's literally like these like mini squats essentially. This is actually maybe a little bit more Muladhara, the as we like to call it, the taint chakra, but it helps that whole area, the whole lower region, kind of supposedly, this is the theory behind it, you're building up energy there, and that's your base center, and you're like, this is like where your like base level of strength and power come from. And so I used to legitimately do this. This is like a real thing. I would have like, say, you know, a pitch at Warner Brothers or something like that, or meeting with an agent or something.
Okay,
and
humble brag. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's happened. No big deal. Check the parking logs. I was there. If you find a 2003 Toyota Camry, that was me. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I would go into the bathroom. I would show up early. I'd go into the bathroom and I would just find a stall and do these like mini squats, and you have to do 100 of them to really get that.
100.
You do 100 of them, 100 little, and there's like these little, like these little guys, and you're just kind of like, and you're like breathing, and you're like, you know, focusing your energy and your that anxiety in a productive way. That's the other thing that was really important that helped me a lot, was reframing my anxiety or my nervousness as excitement.
Got it.
Just telling myself that this isn't nervousness, this is excitement. And they're both sides of the same coin, but I'm going to look at it at the excitement side, and kind of like just even telling myself that helped me just sort of contend with it or deal with it and be like, oh no, this is a good thing. It's good that I feel this way before going on stage. It's good that I am not dead inside. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's good that this excites me and makes me and challenges me. And so I think that really helps. Anyway, so you do that 100 times. And this is maybe where it sounds a little woo-woo. Okay. We're well past woo-woo. But you build the energy and then you like kind of spread it around you, like kind of do this thing.
That's a very Desi thing. This is evolution. This is artistic evolution. You've gone from throwing up before to now going into the bathroom.
That's right. Squats. Yeah, you got it. And so this is I've never thought of it as the evolution of my of my stage fright, but yeah, you're right. It totally is. And I also do some breathing techniques sometimes. Mm-hmm. I do this thing called turtle breathing, which helps me.
Turtle breathing.
Yeah.
What's that?
You inhale for 7, you tip your head back, and then you exhale for 14, and you tip your head forward, and you just kind of go back and forth like that. Mm-hmm. And that's supposed to help sort of build up some energy. I mean, it's like that's the woo-woo piece of it, but again, I really think it's just slowing things down for you, giving you a moment to focus on something other than whatever it is that that you're afraid of, or whatever it is that's sort of spinning up for you. It just allows you a minute to go like, I'm just going to focus on my breath for a second and remember I'm alive.
Yeah.
This is also an opportunity for me. This has been helpful too, is adjusting my intention. Mm-hmm. So I try to, in this moment, if I do these breathing exercises, it's like, what am I doing this for again? Like, right. And going and trying to, whenever it's that, because I think when you feel nervous, let me know if this resonates with you. It's like it's often like because you are taking on this thing of like, I need to be liked. Yeah. I want to crush it. I want to kill. It becomes very like about how your ego and how you are being perceived as like that's the important part of what's happening here and why you're doing this thing. And then I try to flip it. I go like, well, what is my real intention here? And is there a more interesting intention that isn't all about just soothing my ego? So like if I go up on stage, if I'm about to do stand up, I might say like, to myself, like, hey, this isn't just about me trying to crush it for maybe the CAA agent that happened to be in the back. It's like, right. This is really about like giving some joy to people who are like having a rough day, or like having a downtime and being like, or maybe there's a kid in, an Indian kid out there that wishes they could do this, and maybe I can be inspiring to that person to be like, fuck, I can do this too. Yeah. Like if you can flip, like if you can really make your intention not all about you, I'm going to go give a best man speech. It's not about trying to get laid by one of the, like someone out there. It's more about like, I want to make my buddy feel loved. Like this is why I'm really doing this. And then suddenly the nerves don't have as much control or power over you, I don't think.
And you know what? I think going to a space and doing 100 little squats is a great way to start that. It's a great way to put yourself in that mindset.
Yeah, before we move on, do you have any like do you ever get that feeling, before you perform, and then is there anything that you do to
I I have a coffee.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I usually
that would spin me out of control. That's amazing. That would have the complete opposite effect on me. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, without a coffee, I'm just like, can we do this? With a coffee, I'm just like, all right, this is here we go. We've done it before. Let's do it again.
Is that just like for improv mostly?
Mostly for improv.
I could see that because that's like, whenever I have a coffee, I'm like, my brain's firing off in all these directions, and improv, you need to like, the speed is
part of it.
Is a huge part of it. Yeah. It's about accessing quickly or going someplace quickly, and coffee is liquid speed, as we all know. So yeah, that's in chat, I will say this. Zyle just did mention coffee doesn't exist anymore because of last week's podcast. So what are you going to do now? Just drink chai?
No, I'm changing careers.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, one last thing I'm going to say on this for anybody out there who's struggling with this a little bit is this is my stand-up comedy teacher told me this, and it's something I say to myself before I perform. Your material isn't what's funny or interesting or smart or wise. You are. Like, you're funny. You're interesting. You're intelligent. Like, trust in that. It's not the thing you're presenting. And which I think, that's the other idea. It's like, for me at least, this may not work for everybody, but it's about a conversation. Talk, don't present. Like, conversational always seems to win. In I think even in TED Talks, like the people that feel conversational are the ones that you're really engaged with. The ones that feel like they're doing a dry PowerPoint presentation, you're like, next, right? That's how I feel. So I think if you can connect with the audience in a way that's authentic, and remember, it's like you have this wealth of knowledge or experience to draw upon, and that you will be able to do that best when you are in your a more relaxed state, and just like kind of knowing that, like, it's not the stuff I prepared. It's just me, and I try to go up with that and trust in that, and then usually I have a pretty great show.
I love that. That's so good. That's so good. I feel like honestly you're closing out on a heart chakra right there.
Bam, hitting you right in that anahata chakra, right there. Right in the anahat. That's what we aim for. Hey, well, now it's time for American Born versus Desi.
Born.
This is the segment where we pick two related subjects, one with the American flair, another with an Indian or a South Asian flair, and we pit them in a debate death match. This week, it's Sitar versus guitar. Omar and I are each taking a side, and we're going to spit some serious truth bombs. And then you, the live audience in here, are going to vote via poll. The stakes are legit, okay? The winner reigns supreme and gets to become next week's host, while the loser gets relegated to lowly, lame co-host like Omar is right now. And their subject is wiped off the face of the earth. That's right. So that's what I was saying before, or that's what Zyle was saying in chat right just then.
Yep.
Coffee doesn't exist. Coffee got struck out. Chai won last week. That's why I'm host. And so let's see what happens this week. We're gonna. Do we say who we each are presenting? Yeah. So I am defending guitar. Omar.
And I am defending Sitar.
Yes. So let's roll to see who goes first. Delvin rolls. Odds I win. I go first. Evens Omar. And we just rolled
17.
A 17.
All right.
So I am up. 8 minutes on the clock. Let's go. First off, right off the top, variety. Okay, variety.
The magazine? What are we talking about here, Sandeep?
No, not the trade. There's just so many types of guitars. Okay, so we're talking acoustic, electric, rhythm, steel, bass, classical. Have you ever heard of an electric sitar? No, that's never gonna be a thing. Okay, sitar is one thing and one thing alone, and that's cool, but it's ultimately kind of one-dimensional. It's like if the only song you knew on guitar was Wonderwall, and we all know that guy, and we already don't like that guy. So that's how I'm starting. Omar?
I'm so glad that you brought up the Wonderwall guy.
Shot myself in the foot.
Because folks at home or wherever you're enjoying this programming who are going to vote and affect this, you have a choice because you have a power. And that power is to get rid of one of these. It's not just to preserve, it's to get rid of one of these. Let me ask you, how many times have you gone to a party and someone's been like, oh, jeez, oh no, I brought my guitar by accident. Oh shoot, here's Wonderwall. Or how many people have been in a college dorm and someone's been like, oh, that's so funny. I just happened to have brought my guitar. Let me play you every Dave Matthews Band song that's ever existed. We have all been inconvenienced by a guitar. I'm a guitar player. I'm going to be taking a hit on this. But folks, even I've done it. I have rolled into a party. I rolled into a gathering. I have gone to a wake and I've said, let me play you Save Tonight by Eagle Eyed Cherry. That shouldn't be allowed. This needs to be stopped. And tonight, with your vote, you can do that. You can get rid of the guitar and preserve the sitar. Back to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a baller that's already rich, I guess. Listen, sitars are expensive. You can get like a guitar for like $200. Okay, it's the people's instrument. Sitars are minimum $700. Do you want to buy a sitar or do you want to cover rent? By the way, sitars are high maintenance. Okay, they have like only a few playable strings. There's over 18 strings on a sitar that you have to tune and restring, and tuning is a nightmare. The tuning pegs are like simple, like these like simple wood pegs, so there's no like gears on it. And you'd think that Indians would be good at engineering something better than that for the sitar, but it's too fancy to be bothered by modern conveniences. Sitars are like the Princess and the Pea, where everything has to be like just right. Guitars are like, you want to play me with your teeth? That's cool. I'm down. I'm down with that. Listen. They're very high maintenance, and I'm not saying that the sitar isn't cool. There's coolness, but like there's only a couple strings that are playable on it at all. Versus like a guitar is polyphonic. You can play chords. You can change keys very easily. That's not something you can do on a sitar. Clearly, I did my research. Like they all require maintenance. All these backup strings. They basically have like 16 resonant strings that just play backup, like dancers in the back. So look, if you want to change a key, you have to change the actual frets on it, on the sitar. So I'm just going to try to compare it to this way. If this was the end of Back to the Future, the first one, and Marty had to jump on stage, and they were like sitar players, and he was like, hey, it's in the key of G, just follow my changes. Johnny be good, here we go. The sitar player would be like, cool, give me 2 hours, and Marty would be dead.
Hey, Ravi, it's your cousin.
Yeah.
you know that iconic Grammy-winning sound you're looking for?
Hold on, wait 2.5 hours while I tune, and then you can listen to the sound.
Folks who are enjoying this program, wherever you're enjoying it from, you are of fine taste. And I know because you're watching this show. I know because you're participating in the show. You are classy. You understand that having standards in musical instruments is important. Let me name a musician. George Harrison. Learned sitar. Went and played Norwegian wood. And Ravi Shankar, who we just mentioned, said, wow, that was really bad, George Harrison. And George Harrison went, yeah, and this is an actual quote. I'm paraphrasing, but there's an actual quote. Oh, yeah, I was just learning that actually wasn't that great. He then went back to India and studied sitar. This is an instrument that holds so much prestige that a Beatle had to apologize for playing it on an album. That's baller. That is so incredibly baller. And a vote to preserve the sitar is a vote for preserving class. Thank you.
A Beatle that wouldn't even be known, a Beatle that you wouldn't care about if it wasn't for the guitar that he played to get to the Norwegian wood. All right? Listen. Guitars are versatile. They're the staples of so many different types of music: blues, rock, jazz, pop, folk. Sitar's like one lane, Indian classical. You like for a guitar, you want to be Nick Drake one day and then Slash the next, and then Lisa Loeb the day after that. You can do that in the guitar. On the sitar, at best, you can be Ravi Shankar on one day and then Anoushka Shankar on the next day. But basically, you have to be a Shankar. Okay, there's like nothing else that you can try to be there. All right, and then we don't have a lot of time, so look. You also just look cool playing a guitar, okay? This is the bottom line. I'm glad you brought up Ravi Shankar. I see you, Ravi Shankar, and I raise you one Dave Buxt, a.k.a. Dave Brown Sound. That's right. Look at that picture right there. The guitar's for Sum 41. Dave Buxt, all right? He was a Canadian musician, singer, songwriter, and, was the man in Sum 41. So I'm just saying Indians can also rock that baby. He's now playing for a band called the Brown Brigade. So he's evolved, and I think we all need to evolve and let the sitar go. It's an old instrument. It's time to retire it. That's all I'm saying. Me and Dave, 2023.
Voters, while we're getting some fat lip from my the host of this program here, Sandeep Parikh, let me just remind you, there's a unique and beautiful sound to sitar. Yes, it can't do everything. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe a musical instrument should sound exactly like itself. Nothing can imitate the sitar the way it does. There's a reason that you listen to the music of films. There's a reason that this is an internationally known instrument, despite the fact that it can't be played in your Canadian pop punk music there, Sandeep. Now, there's a lot of instruments, keyboards, etc., that can replace and do what we need to do for the guitar, but nothing can touch the sitar. We can let the guitar go. The guitar might have just been a speed bump in the evolution of music, but we need to look at the foundation of what set us here. We need to remember our heritage, and we need to keep the sitar.
I'm good. Listen, it's like it's not fun. It's like it's cool to listen to. It's not fun to play. Like a guitar's a sociable instrument. You can pass it around. You can bring a guitar to a campfire. You can't lift that thing. The sitar is freaking huge. It's heavy. Like getting a sitar is like an arranged marriage. If you want to learn, you're like, I just have to be in for it for a long time before I'm even gonna know if I enjoy it. Whereas you can date a guitar. Okay, you can date multiple guitars. You can go poly with guitars. I have 4 guitars downstairs. I mean, guitars are great. It can also be used as a weapon in case of emergency. If a gig goes awry or Will Smith rushes the stage, you can fell your foe with the timely swing of your axe. That's how.
Very well written, sir. I would like to point out you are out of time.
Damn it. I think I got crushed.
So I do have the results so far on screen. We posted a little early because of mobile users' delay. So we've got some of the vote in, but there's still time for people to post their vote in. Right now, guitar is in the lead. But we don't have the whole vote in yet.
Because it was a little lame for me to start and end. So Omar, if people are still voting, you got anything else?
Yeah, I'll get 2 words. And listen, we can describe our instruments like finely tuned and finely crafted masterpieces like they are, or as you described yours, just a bong that you take to a camping trip that you just pass to the left and let anyone do what they want. But I will leave you with 2 words, and I'll let the voters decide. Nickelback.
Can I again say we can get rid of Nickelback? We can get rid of Wonderwall without throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Oh man, that hurts though. That's tough. It's tough to come back from Nickelback.
Or without guitar, with Nickelback and just use a sitar.
Ooh, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, good one.
They may just be a fixed point in time,
I had this other that I think that should be the end of the official debate, but because that's how do you top Nickelback? Fucking hilarious, dude. But I had this thing where it turns out, I was going to say, even India celebrates the guitar over the sitar. The world's largest guitar ensemble consisted of thousands of guitars playing. This is a random fact I found. In India in 2012, check out this pic. The Indian record for the largest guitar ensemble was created on June 3rd, 2012, with 5,406 guitarists paying tribute to a legendary singer, Bhupen Hazarika, by playing his famous number, Bistirno Parore, which I totally know. This is happening in Guwahati, which I've totally been to. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say and think that even India would vote for the guitar was gonna be my closer, but I ran out of time.
Yeah, I mean, you might have all those friends showing up. Definitely, they seem very enthusiastic and very willing to play this. I will see if you win this round next week. I would love for you to play that piece for us.
I will learn it. I will learn that shit on my guitar. That's a great idea.
Omar, I was actually going to have the largest gathering of sitar players as an image as well, in case you brought it up. But it turned out that's one, so you can just use any picture of somebody playing a sitar. That wasn't like a specific.
You can just mirror image it, yeah. And you've actually technically.
You just Google sitar, and there you go. You've got the Guinness Book of World Records.
Or just ask AI to replace all those guitars with sitars. Ask Midjourney, and they'll do it.
All right, poll results are in.
Do you want to reveal the results? Let's do it.
And guitar is the winner. So the sitar has been wiped off the planet. We have lost a small fraction of Beatles songs instead of all the rest of the Beatles songs.
That's crazy because you were winning for I noticed you were winning for most of it. I did not think I thought I got I really did think I got crushed. Wow. So some late voters love Nickelback, I guess.
I'm looking for some sitar covers here. I got Black Hole Sun.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I was looking for Nickelback, but unfortunately. Unfortunately, no. No one's done it yet. From what I'm seeing.
Should I? By the way, I tried to cheat and use ChatGTP for this. I just was curious.
Okay.
Like what it said. So I literally asked ChatGPT, like, compare the guitar to the sitar, like which one's better, and it essentially reprimanded me. And I'm going to read you what ChatGPT said to me. Because I kept asking it kept dodging the question. It was like, it's not a matter of one being better. They're both unique. Da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, obviously. So I was like, can you give me some comedic, reasons why the guitar is better than the sitar? Like, I was curious. And eventually it just goes, as an AI language model, I do not engage or condone making light of cultural or musical differences. The guitar and sitar are both unique instruments and have their own unique qualities. It is important to respect and appreciate them, Sandeep. Didn't say that part, but I could hear it. For their individual characteristics and cultural significance. And then it says this: comparing instruments in a humorous manner could be perceived as disrespectful, and I would advise against it.
AI, you're gonna hate the premise of this bit. You're
gonna hate our show, I think. It's kind of what we do every week. AI hates comedy. Cool. That's gonna be a fun future. Oh man.
All right. Well, now that we've decided that and wiped the finest musical instrument off the face of the earth, unfortunately, it's time to move on to our Desi of the week. This week, we've got two Desis. Are you ready for this, Sandeep?
So ready.
It's a duo sister shout out to Norah Jones and Anoushka Shankar for being two Desi Grammy Award nominees.
Wow. So sad that's the last time that Anoushka will ever be able to play the sitar. What a bummer for her. That was kind of her thing.
Well, for us to give and to take.
Yeah, it's a give and take. It's a give and take. If you're unfamiliar with Anoushka Shankar, okay, she is British Indian sitarist, vocalist, and composer. She's earned 2 nominations in the categories of global music this year. She has a live album, Between Us, and let's see, has been nominated for the Best Global Music Album. So that's pretty rad. And she's, has all these amazing collaborations that she's done with Pakistani singers. And this is actually her 8th and 9th nominations for a Grammy. And crazily enough, she has not won yet. So that we're hoping...
Maybe tonight.
Especially since this is the last year that she could ever be potentially nominated, unless she moves on to guitar, that we were hoping that she takes this down.
Speaking of guitar players, Norah Jones is singer-songwriter. I'm going to take that from the top, actually. Sorry, others. Speaking of guitar players, we've got Norah Jones, who's actually Anoushka's sister. She's been nominated for the category Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album for Dream of Christmas this year, which is very, very exciting. But also is a wildly famous musician. I think a ton of people listen to Come Away With Me, which came out a couple years ago. And also Norah Jones has been nominated for 19 times at the Grammys and has won 9 times.
That's sick. Man.
That's absolutely wild.
That's a sisterly rivalry right there. That's a little one-sided. So I definitely want to see Anoushka come back strong and hard on her sister. All right. Well, look, I think we hit the show. I think we hit the show limit. I do, for the live stream, I got a pretty amazing Anoushka story because I did meet her in person, and I will tell you that I'm just gonna say that she's got a crush on me. Okay, I'll just go ahead and reveal that. Listen, it was many years ago, but I'm pretty sure it's a crush on me, and I'll tell you this is a true story, and I'll reveal that for those folks who stick around the live stream. But hey, that's been the show for the podcast. As always, if you want to see our lovely faces, all the VOD and other ways that you can hang with us are in the show notes. Please rate, comment. That helps. That helps us big time. And if you have other comments or suggestions, if you have negative comments, don't put that on Apple Podcasts. No. Please email that to us at abcdpodcastshow@gmail, or hop into our Discord, and we will gladly ignore those suggestions. No, I'm just kidding. We'll gladly take them. We want to make the show for you, and so we'd love to hear from you as to what's working for you, what's not. And then lastly, another quick shout out to our sponsors. Why don't you take this one, because I'm going to get my guitar ready.
Oh, okay, that sounds great. A huge thank you to our sponsors, DesiQuest, the TTRPG that stars us and like other people that you know and recognize from other things. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. If you want to stay updated with what's going on with that, head over to DesiQuest.com to sign up for the mailing list that gives you the up-to-the-minute news about the show. And, of course, we have to thank a huge sponsor, you. Mm-hmm. And now we've got, I believe, some musical musings from Sandeep.
That's right. Of course, as always, here's my ballad of love to our Patreons who are at the shout-out level. So here we go. The last people I'd like to thank are the Patreons who put money in our bank, which include Joshua Ryan, Tall BM, Carlo, Wuzak, Benjamin Lowe, Brandon Pace, Hunter P. Brown, Legion 247, Miranda Hollinger, oh shit, I have to scroll, Vaden, and Michael Longa. Almost as good as Wonderwall.
Big shout out to patron supporter Oh Should I Have to Scroll. We really appreciate your help.
We love it. Oh Should I Have to Scroll gives us $100 a month. I don't know if you know that.
I will say this: you're very, very lucky that instrument still exists for you to be able to play that music, Sandeep.
I think we're lucky it exists. This would have been a cappella otherwise.
Yeesh.
And if you're live, stick around for our after show where we critique ourselves and come up with the episode show title, and then play a round of top 10 to determine which of us will be the host and which of us will be the lowly host. But we're actually scratching all that.
We scratched that.
We're scratching all that. But if you're live, come stick around with us. We are going to play a fun game over here on the EffinFunny Twitch channel. So we'll be doing that in a second. And here's some quick show credits. The show is produced by Daigle and Now. The show's technical director and sound designer is Delvin Neville. And the show's executive producers are Sandeep Parikh and Anand Shah. This has been an EffinFunny production.
Yes, and on behalf of our co-host, Omar Najam, I've been host, and we'll be again next week, Sandeep Parikh. Hey, may all your chakras be aligned and smothered in chutney. This has been ABCD. Did we do it?
We did it.
Is that the end?
All right.
That's the end of the
it.
show.
There we go.
Did the end
Not a
of the
single
show.
tech issue.
Now it's only secret messages. No one else will know what happens from now on.
Oh boy. Which let's check in with chat first, but we have to know that story, Sandeep. We have to know this Twitch exclusive.
Yeah. Just put that guitar. Maybe I should do it to music. Yeah. Okay. Well, yes. Quick hello to chat. There was some good stuff in here. Shankar McFly from Skip to Zip, which I enjoyed for the Marty McFly. Nickelback is one word. That's correct. Is it called a sitar because you sit and enjoy while a guitar encourages you to get up and dance? Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I actually did wonder if I did look up the origin for the word sitar, because I was wondering if if it was anything related to sitting.
Yeah, because there's a few contentious historical opinions, it seems.
Oh, yeah, you saw the same.
Yeah, where people
the one I saw that was prominent was that it was sitar is like a Persian instrument that has 3 strings, and it was kind of like an evolution of that. That's the one that I saw the most as maybe being.
That was the recurring one that I saw.
Yeah.
I saw one article that was like, a lot of musical scholars say that it was invented in like East Asia, general East Asia, whereas Indian scholars say it was in India. And I was like, that's the most Desi thing I've ever seen. Where it's like, no, I think we did it. I think
sure we did it.
I think we did it.
Yes, I think my great grandmother actually invented this. It was actually my
the general
family.
region. It's the instruments from the. No. I think I did it.
Yeah,
I think I did it.
I think I did last week. Actually, I think it was me. It's amazing. There's a lot of India invented everything sentiments that are out there that are very challenging for me. Anyway, let's see. Oh, so the story. Okay.
Here we go.
Buckle up. It's not that great. But so my cousin married this really cool person who's now my bubby. And she's an Odissi dancer. She's like an amazing Odissi dancer. And Kathak, I think she did Kathak, like a bunch of Indian classical stuff. And she toured with Madonna. Like, that's how good she was.
Wow, okay.
You know when Madonna had her Desi phase or whatever?
Oh, that's right.
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
yeah.
I think she was on that tour. And so she knows people in the biz, and she's like really good friends with Anoushka. So
Which makes sense.
And I think she was just on the rise. I mean, she's been performing forever, obviously, but I think she was just starting to hit it big. Like, I don't know if she had any Grammy noms yet at this point or not, possibly. But anyway, so they're getting married. It's their engagement party. I'm obviously invited. And then my cousin, we're both like of similar age. He's only 3 months older than me. So we're like the closest in age cousins. And so he was like, hey, would you please like speak and say something? And he told me like maybe like on my way down to drive down to it. And I was like, oh God, okay. Let me just come up with a speech real quick. And so I'm like, just jamming out some ideas. Basically, he's like the taller, better looking, more successful. He's a eye surgeon, like, version of me. And so the whole bit of it was that of my speech was like, I was counting points, like who scores more points in life and who's winning, and he's like basically kicking my ass essentially. And then like I just was like in the moment. So I did the speech and I started riffing on everything, and it was just in the moment. It was like one of those times where you're just on doing improv, and you like own the audience. They're like putty in your hands. Yeah. And I just crushed that speech, like to the point that I crushed that speech so much that to the point my mama, my uncle, so my cousin's dad, I think the thing he's shown people the most from their wedding is my speech at the engagement ceremony. Yes.
Not like pictures of like the couple.
He videotapes. He's the mama that videotapes everything. Even if we hire videographers, he still videotapes everything.
I've got it.
Yeah, you know
I've
that
got
guy.
it.
He's like, I got it. He'll get in the way of the professional videographers so that he can get his angle on his like little, handheld Sony
I love a go around the uncle.
Oh.
Gets in your way and then go around the uncle. Yeah.
I mean, bless his heart. It's so great. So he is so proud of the speech. It's so funny. But anyway, so I crushed the speech, and who's in the audience? I find out afterwards. The entire Shankar family. So Ravi Shankar, before he passed, was there. Anoushka was there. And so afterwards, like so her dad was like, Ravi loved your speech and wants to talk to you. So then like I go to talk to Ravi Shankar.
That's wild.
Yeah, like I go, like I touch his feet and I'm like, and he's like, he's super cool. He's like, that's too Indian. Like that's too formal. He's like, just come give me a hug or whatever. And he was very sweet. And he was like cool. Like he was just like cool, man. He was like, that was a cool speech. That was a really cool speech. You're so funny, man. You're a comedy guy, man. You're gonna kill in comedy. Like he was like just super hip. And then and Anoushka, was just like hanging out with all the youngins because we were all youngins. And I'm telling you, man, she was I think she was flirting is all I'm saying.
What are the facts?
She was flirting.
Can you relay us some facts? Can you hit like chat can
okay,
decide.
the problem is I don't remember specifics. All I remember was the feeling because it was so long ago. My girlfriend was also there with me, so I was like not about to like flirt back with Anoushka Shankar, but she just was like laughing at everything that I said and was like kept finding me in the night and like chatting. Listen, I'm not saying
keep laughing at all my jokes, says the professional comic.
she was like, "Oh, you should come to a concert when I come to LA. Like, hit me up." Look, listen, it could have been innocent, all friend stuff, which is great too. I'm just saying that I felt like I had a shot. Okay. I mean, I at least had a shot to get the number, but I did not feel comfortable pursuing, considering my current circumstance at the time.
Which makes sense. That makes sense.
In my opinion, she's been holding up. Like, this is what I think. She's been holding on to this for years, and just waiting until my marriage falls apart and is gonna pounce. That's what I pretty much is assuming. I think she's just hanging on and being like, someday Sandeep is gonna be single again.
Are you gonna? What are the odds of you getting mentioned in the Grammy speech tonight?
I think pretty high. I'm pretty sure every time she thanks God, quote unquote, she like kind of winks at the camera a little bit, and it's like, I know she's like kind of like, I can't say your name, Sandeep, but like I'm basically trying to thank you.
Imagine though how that plays to literally anyone else at a speech. I'm going into the microphone. Let's just play this out real quick. I'll be her for a second. I'm like,
please.
Here's your. Tell me, can you announce me winning the
and the Grammy goes to Omar Najam playing the role of Anoushka Shankar. Whoa!
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of studying. I want to thank God. What would that mean to everyone else?
It would mean that she doesn't think God exists. I get that. And she also doesn't think she has a chance with me, and that's the beautiful part. That's so funny. That'd be amazing. Winking after God. Yeah. Look, of course it's wishful thinking, but someday she'll come on the podcast and confirm or deny.
I will say, I did put it up to chat, and the poll came back 50-50.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
I listen. She's taller than me, so I think that's a big strike against me, especially in Indian culture. But she's cool and hip, so she may not care about that.
Because if she's part of short king culture,
could be a part of short king culture. It wasn't like egregiously taller than me. It just was like,
Maybe those Iron Man shoes. You can step it up.
Yeah,
that's all it is. That's all it is.
Maybe
Stopping
I should
relationship.
wear heels.
It's a small
to the event,
fashion
not her.
adjustment.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, Robert Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get some Tom Cruise inches up. You'll be fine.
Anyway, listen. Let a married man dream. Let a short married man just dream that Anoushka Shankar's into him.
It sounded like you did such a good job at the wedding. I mean, if people were seeking you out, like Ravi calling you over like a Marlon Brando character is really something.
I mean, that was amazing. Like, I think I peaked. I think that was the pinnacle of my career, was crushing that speech.
So
I will say that since then,
yeah,
my cousins almost to the number have asked me to either speak or MC their wedding reception. Like, they all want me to do. But I'm also the performer cousin, so it might be that.
It is when you're playing a TTRPG that's like a fantasy based thing of the more popular systems. You have different classes, and one of them is Bard. And I think a lot of people are just like, what's the point of this? I think in Desi culture, we truly understand. Because the role an entertainer has in a family, for my cousin's birthdays, would just take popular songs and play them live, but change the lyrics to be like about them. And like, you go to the Gap. It wasn't anything big. It was something as simple as that, of just like, there's a place called Hollister where you buy clothes. And the way that people just screamed and cried, Beatlemania style, for just like, you changed 2 words, and they couldn't believe it. We have that power. That is a power we have in like Desi families.
It is funny, yeah. No, 100%. You were treated like I just remember these. There's always like the uncle that's like, have you talked to Jay Leno yet? You should talk to Jay Leno. I think he would like you. And I'm like, yeah, let me just look him up. Like, not that, like, he's like, oh, I don't know. I have no contact to Jay Leno, but I think you should try to talk to him.
At the real Jay Leno.
Amazing.
You should totally check out my nephew.
Hey, we should talk.
Yeah. Insane.